If this offends you, pay attention because offense is not random. It doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from contact with something real. Most men think being offended means something is wrong with what they heard, but it's the opposite. Offense usually means something hit too close, too accurate, too specific, too undeniable, and the ego reacts instantly, not with logic, with defense, anger, rejection, dismissal. That's not true. That doesn't apply to me. This is stupid. But notice something. The reaction is fast, almost automatic, because the ego doesn't evaluate truth. It protects identity. And when something threatens how you see yourself, you resist it, even if it's correct. That's why weak men avoid discomfort, not physical discomfort, psychological discomfort, the kind that forces reflection, the kind that exposes gaps, the kind that shows you who you really are, not who you pretend to be. Strong men don't run from that. They look directly at it because they understand something dangerous. If it triggers you, it probably matters. The ego is not your strength, it's your shield. And most of the time, it's protecting the wrong thing. It protects your image, not your reality. It protects how you want to be seen, not who you actually are. That's the problem, because growth requires exposure. It requires seeing yourself clearly, without filters, without excuses, without distortion. But the ego blocks that. It steps in immediately when something threatens your self-image, and it says, reject this. Defend yourself. Don't accept that, not because it's false, but because it's uncomfortable. And discomfort is where growth lives. Weak men stay trapped here. They protect their ego at all costs. They avoid criticism. They reject feedback. They dismiss truth. And because of that, they never change. Strong men do the opposite. They don't trust their ego. They question it. They observe their reactions. And when something hits them, they don't push it away. They analyze it. Why did that affect me? What part of this is true? What am I avoiding? That's where evolution starts, not when you feel good, but when your identity is challenged. Because the version of you that gets offended is usually the version that needs to change. Most men run from discomfort. They avoid it. They silence it. They distract themselves from it because it feels bad. But that feeling is not random. It's directional. Discomfort points somewhere. It highlights something, a weakness, a gap, a truth you're avoiding. And if you ignore it, you stay the same. That's why most men don't evolve. Not because they lack information, but because they avoid confrontation with themselves. Strong men do something different. They don't run from discomfort. They follow it. They treat it like data. If something irritates you, there's a reason. If something offends you, there's a reason. If something triggers you, there's a reason. And instead of reacting, they investigate. They slow down. They look at it directly, without defense, without excuses, without ego. And in that moment, clarity appears. You start seeing patterns where you hesitate, where you avoid pressure, where you fall short. That awareness is power because you can't fix what you refuse to see. Discomfort reveals what needs to be built, and the man who listens to it improves faster than everyone else. Most men are easy to control, not physically, mentally, emotionally, because they are predictable. They react to criticism, they react to pressure, they react to discomfort, and anything that reacts can be manipulated. Push the right button, and they respond. Every time. That's weakness. And it all comes from one place, the ego, the need to protect identity, the need to feel right, the need to defend image, the need to avoid being exposed. But when you remove that, everything changes. A man who accepts truth about himself becomes unpredictable because he is no longer defending anything. You can't insult him with something he already knows. You can't expose him with something he has already faced. You can't destabilize him with something he has already accepted. That's power, because power is not loud. It's stable. The man who sees himself clearly does not react blindly. He adjusts. He improves. He moves forward. Without drama, without ego, without resistance. And that makes him dangerous. Not aggressive, not emotional, precise. Because he is aligned with reality, and reality doesn't bend. The more honest you become with yourself, the harder it becomes for anything external to control you. Here's the truth most men avoid. If it offended you, it probably applied to you. Not always, but often. Because truth doesn't trigger everyone. It targets specific weaknesses, specific gaps, specific insecurities. And when it hits, you feel it. Not logically, emotionally. That reaction is not the problem. Ignoring it is. Because the moment you reject truth, you reject growth. You choose comfort over progress. You choose identity over evolution. And you stay the same. That's why most men never change. They don't lack information. They lack honesty. They hear the truth and defend themselves from it. They protect the version of themselves that is holding them back. Strong men do something different. They don't ask, do I like this? They ask, is this true? And if the answer is yes, they act immediately, without drama, without delay, without ego, because they understand something critical. Truth is not there to comfort you. It's there to correct you. And correction is what creates progress. So the next time something hits you, don't react. Don't reject. Pause, look at it, and ask yourself, what part of this is real? Because that answer is where your next level begins. This is disobey your limits.